Can you tell me your name, job title, and an overview of your role and responsibilities?
Yes, so my name is Emma Pickering, and I'm Head of Technology Facilitated Abuse and Economic Empowerment at Refuge. And Refuge are the UK's largest single provider of domestic abuse services. We were established in 1971. We currently have over 40 refuge accommodation properties in the UK. We also have the National Domestic Abuse Helpline, which runs 24 hours a day and 365 days a week. And we have outreach services as well and specialist services. And one of those specialist services is my team, which is the Tech and Economic Abuse Service, where we support survivors directly to make sure that they can use their technology safely, that they're not compromised by using their technology, that they can regain financial independence as well if they've been victim of economic abuse, coerced debt, fraud. And my role really is to look at developing a 5-year strategy to make sure that we are responding in the UK to the growing and emerging threat of technology facilitated abuse, looking at finding ways that I can maintain and develop and grow the service to make sure that we're reaching more survivors, both in the UK, but also for contacts that we see internationally that need our support or advice and guidance.
Can you tell me about your team, how it functions and your objectives?
Yes. So we were formed in 2017, and we kind of was developed because our team at Refuge, key workers, frontline workers, started to see evidence that technology was being misused by perpetrators to track survivors, to find them in refuges, safe accommodation, misusing children's technology during child contact, taking out loans in a survivor's name, causing loads of issues with obtaining credit and being able to apply for housing support. And we were able to identify that there was a real increase in calls, monitoring, harassment on social media. We could see it was becoming a really growing problem, and we needed to have a specialist dedicated service to be able to tackle this new form of abuse. So we were able to obtain in 2017 a 3-year grant from Google to develop a service to respond to survivors' needs. It started off as a team of 5, and they were just tech leads, and I was originally a tech lead at the very beginning, where we worked directly with survivors when they had compromised tech devices and accounts, making sure that we changed the narrative from come off your technology, block the perpetrator, where all the responsibility sits with that survivor. We wanted to change that narrative to say, we know that you want to use technology. Technology is brilliant and it can keep you connected, but let's make sure that you can use it safely. So we did lots of work with empowering survivors to make sure they understood their devices, account setting, privacy features, and helped enable them to navigate their technology safely and feel more confident to use tech safely. And it's evolved over the years. So now we have a team of 16 brilliant individuals who all have different roles and responsibilities. So we have some training leads who are dedicated to raising awareness of tech facilitated abuse and economic abuse, to ensure that professionals in the sector respond more appropriately to survivors, helping agencies like the police, healthcare professionals, and other smaller charities in the sector as well, making sure that it isn't just a postcode lottery, so survivors that access refuge services have the advice and support. They can receive that wherever they go. We also have digital leads, so making sure that all of our digital assets are up to date. We've got newsletters now, podcasts now. We're expanding our reach. We're reaching more survivors and professionals than we ever have done before. We're looking at accessibility, making sure that our content is digestible and there's information there that's really clear guidance that helps survivors in the moment when they need information quickly. They can understand the context and they can apply that to their own devices and accounts. And we also have economic leads who work with survivors, banking industries, financial institutions, to make sure that we are bridging that gap of knowledge, sharing the information that we have and the data that we have, so financial institutions can respond appropriately to survivors. And then we've got tech leads and a helpline tech abuse lead, so people that are working directly with survivors when we're seeing really complex cases of tech abuse, and I'll just give some examples of what I mean by complex. So things like Wi-Fi hacks and things like the misuse of stalkerware, things like where a perpetrator has infiltrated into someone's whole devices, accounts, home security settings, managed to manipulate smart locks, CCTV systems, tracking via the use of tracking devices, location-enabled devices, misusing children's devices, and that could be smartwatches, phones, etc., syncing to iPads and so on. And it really is vast, and we do a thorough tech assessment with every survivor and their child or children when they come to a refuge, or we engage with them in the community to make sure that we're covering everything that we need to cover. Because sometimes we think of the big things like phones and social media accounts, and we might forget the more nuanced forms of tech that people use every day, or accounts. And we need to make sure all of these are covered so people can use them all safely.
And how will you be supporting the hackathon?
So my role really is for anybody that's attending, engaging, or participating in the hackathon, really to offer some advice and support. So if people are designing any kind of products, they've got any solutions, any kind of ideas that they're designing and building, it's really to kind of utilise our knowledge at Refuge and my knowledge around making sure that they're designed through the view of like a survivor, like the lens of safety is applied. So we're making sure that it's kind of designed for good. Things that we need are things like kind of devices and applications that can track intimate image-based abuse online. We need scanners and devices, especially that can scan a room and be able to identify accurately if there's hidden cameras and devices in the room. We need things that can scan devices and mobile phones to see if there's malware, stalkerware hidden. That's what we need really, as people have got these technical skills and abilities. We need them to be able to utilise that through the lens of looking at how somebody can misuse technology to cause harm, and finding a solution that can balance and outweigh that harm. And that's where we come in, looking at risk assessments, looking at sharing our data, sharing our trends. So if someone is designing any kind of products that's going to be targeted for helping people find solutions to stay safe online, then we can help bridge that gap to make sure that they're designed appropriately and they're considering a survivor's safety.
So what do you want people who are attending and participating in the hackathon to take away from your involvement?
I think it was just echoing the points before, really. I think it is just making sure that they are considering the safety of survivors of intimate image-based abuse, of domestic abuse, sexual violence, but also to really consider that when we get carried away with our great ideas and we've got this really new exciting idea or software application, that's great, but are we really considering that it's reaching everyone? Are we thinking about the accessibility requirements? Are we making sure that the language is easy to understand? Are we excluding any particular groups by our design features? And are we creating something inadvertently without, meaning to, that could be something that a perpetrator would want to use to cause harm? And it's making sure that if there's going to be products on the market or software or applications designed, that they're created for good, because unfortunately we see a market that's saturated with lots of products and software applications that are causing harm, and we really want to balance that out. And that's why we're excited about joining hackathons, because it means the right people are in the right rooms with the right creative ideas and abilities to be able to create something that can be a solution for many of our survivors. So if people are looking at design applications where they've got ideas around tackling hate crime, sexual violence, domestic abuse, and intimate image-based abuse, then I would be ideal, I suppose, to speak to try and gather some trends information around how a product can be created safely.
Any final thoughts or comments?
I just think it just really echoes that, technology is evolving, as everybody knows and appreciates, and that's great. And we've got new advancements with AI that we're seeing, new advancements with particular software applications that we're seeing. And I think we're just at this crutch moment where it's really important that we have people that are involved in the hackathon that can create products and applications that can do more good, than harm. And that's what's really important, that we're kind of engaging with the right agencies and the right people to create products with safety in mind for spiders.